Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 25th of October, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe we'll try to couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets us towards the middle of November, and I should get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Please like, share, subscribe on all of today's videos and content. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. The GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everyone. I've got a dodgy eye today. Woke up with my right eye flaring up for the first time this winter. So I'm going to get this done as quick as I can and then get offline, I think, for the rest of the day. Does feel a bit sore looking at the screen. Right, okay, we're going to start off temperature anyway. So CT is now sitting at 10.6. That's just 1.1 of a degree above the 61 to 1990 average. So we've virtually eradicated that warm start we had to the month, and we're virtually bang on our long-term 30-year average. We're below average as well for the more recent average, which of course is 91 to 2020. That is provisional up to yesterday, to the 14th of October. So, get to the middle of the month, and we're about average. We'll wait and see where we go into the second half of the month. Probably still going to be a little bit above average, I think, because these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Looking at London today. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. And you see that the upper air temperature is going to be slightly above average over the next week. We are in for a pretty mild, if rather unsettled, third week to October. It's a bit of a cool down into the last week of the month, though. So in the end, we might finish up again with another CT very, very close to average, as we've had over several months since June, actually. And, we'll wait and see where we end up. Anyway, you will notice that the thick green line is the which is the GFS midnight operation run. That becomes quite a warm outlier through the last week of October. We'll have a look at it in a moment, but generally most of the ensemble levels are down here. So when we have a look at that shortly, remember, it is a little bit of an outlier within the GFS and its ensembles. Precipitation-wise, there'll be lots of unsettled weather to come through the third week of October. Plenty of precipitation spikes there. We do see a little bit of a drying trend into the last week of the month, perhaps. Of course, that's a long way off, and its extended range, therefore, it is rather unreliable. So, certainly the next week, 10 days anyway, looking unsettled, but also mild. Temperature anomalies from the 15th to 23rd of October, been above average, above average week to come. And precipitation anomalies from the 15th to 23rd of October. So the far southeast corner actually coming out a little bit drier than normal, but wetter than average through northern England, Wales, southwest England, when it goes drier again into northern Scotland and also for Ireland. The latest wind from that from earth.nullschool.net shows that we're between low pressure in the Atlantic today and high pressure over the continent. With changed wind direction, we're starting to bring up a milder southerly southeasterly flow, with the air originating more from the Mediterranean. Okay, let's start going through chart data. Every cell latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Friday. Low pressure coming in off the Atlantic with a southwest wind, looking relatively mild but also unsettled. And we keep the unsettled weather going through the weekend. A deep area of low pressure to the west of the UK and Isle of Man. Midnight on Sunday could bring some severe gales into the northwest, perhaps. All looking rather flat as we go into the beginning of next week as well, with high pressure south, low pressure to the north, flat as a pancake with westerly winds, mild but also changeable, particularly in the north and south, will get the driest weather. Icon, again, bring low pressure in off the Atlantic through Friday into the weekend as well. Low pressure keeps on coming, quite a deep low there, could bring gale or severe gale force winds into Ireland and also Scotland, and some heavy rain crossing many parts of the country, perhaps through the course of the weekend. Into next week, flat as pancake again, high pressure south, low pressure north. We bring up these southwesterly winds, so mild but dry myself unsettled up in the north. And then we've got the KMA. Looks like that. Again, low pressure out to the northwest, high pressure to the southwest, bringing in this westerly flow through the weekend. Low pressure keeps coming, and that looks like quite an intense low there, just to the west of the UK and Ireland from Saturday into Sunday. Again, that could bring some gales or severe gales with it to the far north. Overall, high pressure building up from the south as we go into next week. So drier next week and calmer for a while anyway, and then low pressure coming back in as we're heading towards the closing days of the month, and turning cooler as well, with winds in from the northwest. We've got a GFS midnight run. Again, all much of a muchness. We know it's going to warm out later on. Let's see about how that happens. But starting off, much of a muchness. Low pressure bringing outbreaks of rain and strong winds into the north and west over the weekend. The south be getting the driest weather. Next week, high pressure builds up from the south, keeping it mild, keeping the wind direction from a southerly or southwesterly direction, and also settling things down, especially so for England and Wales. Around day 10-11, big area of high pressure dominating, bringing lots of dry, fine conditions, and then eventually we see that high pressure slipping away to the east, low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. So we end October, actually gets Halloween today, 31st of October would be XA GFS. And by that point, we're back into much cooler and much more unsettled weather. Once again, the high pressure slipping away into Eastern Europe. Remember that whole scenario probably from about, I don't know, probably from about there, about day 10. All of that is a bit of a warm outlier within the GFS ensembles. GFS 6 then, in comparison, showing again low pressure out to the north and west on Friday, mild but unsettled at the end of the week and into weekend. These areas of low pressure being bouts of rain and also pretty strong winds as well. Heading up towards days 8, 9 and 10. High pressure tries to build from the south, but overall we keep it pretty flat and westerly with outbreaks of rain and, just quite unsettled conditions, particularly so for the north and west, drier in the south. And then into the extended range, it's not raising my heights up towards Scandinavia, interestingly, northwest of Russia for the closing days of October, but we keep things sort of westerly and a little bit cooler and more unsettled as well. Actually, low pressure deepening through the North Atlantic into the west of Europe into the closing days of October. So we end up looking pretty cool and also very unsettled. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Make sure everyone's bored doing that. Why not drop a comment and know about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to me. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Around 55 subscribers, we get to 18.9k. So if you could give us a sub and tell your friends and family to subscribe, that'd be absolutely amazing, incredible. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, GM again with low pressure heading in off the Atlantic through the end of the week and into the weekend. Wet weather, particularly in the west, with these long fetched southwesterly winds. So it will be mild, but it will be quite unsettled over the weekend. Next week, higher pressure building into south, being some drier weather there, but still unsettled to the north and the west, and still mild or very mild, both southwesterly winds. Days 9 and 10 start to cool things down. As we bring in more of a northwesterly flow, so the temperature begins to lower, and we find wet weather coming all the way down into the south by the end of next week. And then the ECM rounding it all off again with low pressure in the Atlantic, wet and windy through the end of the week and into the weekend. That looks pretty stormy, I have to say, just to the west of Ireland on Saturday night. That heads up towards the north of Scotland. That could be a named storm. That might end up getting named by the UK Met area by the weekend. So that's one to watch. That could bring some severe gales to Ireland and Scotland. Anyway, very unsettled, of course, over the weekend. Into next week, though, heights rise to the south, turns drier, stays mild, and then by the end of the week, we're back into those westerly winds again, so unsettled conditions even coming down into the south by the end of next week after a drier interval. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Precipitation.com. Plenty of rain coming up from south over the next few days, some heavy rain at that as well. A little bit drier there for a time around the middle part of the week, but then more wet weather is coming in at the end of the week, and on it goes. Best bat stormy system that might be a named storm over the weekend, so that's Saturday heading towards Sunday as well. Could bring some severe gales to the northwest, and you notice most of the wet weather with that is to the northwest. Not that much rain getting through to the southeast with that. And then next week we turn drier for a while anyway, before wet weather comes back towards the end of the week. As it turns cooler, some of that precipitation starts to turn wintry up in the north. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today. 4-day temp from the Icelandic Met Office gets us to the 25th of October. So we've got 24 members of the ECM ensembles, including control and operation run, looking unsettled, low pressure in off the Atlantic, along with a west-northwesterly wind. So, yeah, pretty unsettled with that, and cooler as well. We've got 15 with high pressure though over and to the east of the coast, and reaching out into the Atlantic as well. So that would have quite a lot of dry weather with it. And then we've got 12 with low pressure sort of through the coast and high pressure out here and up here. That low pressure sort of broke off from the main low, which is in the North Atlantic, so the jet stream doing something a bit like that. So that could be cool and unsettled. I think if you put the 24 there together with the 12 there, we're probably moving back towards unsettled conditions and cooler conditions by day 10. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It gets us to the 30th of October. 28 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure just to our west, all this low pressure's up to the north, and we set the wind on more of a northwest-southeast alignment, so probably reasonably dry. The Atlantic is rather blocked off, but could still be showery, probably a bit on the cool side. And then we've got 23 with high pressure bridging more strongly, actually, through the North Atlantic into Northern Europe, and that will bring in like a colder east-northeasterly flow as well. So that's dry, but could be turning things quite cold by the end of October. CFS finally, these are 500 millibar high zones, bring down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 15th, 21st of October. Next week looks unsettled with low pressure to the north, high pressure is to the south, and winds are coming in from a westerly direction. So dry to the south, most settled in the north, and at least it will be mild. Into week 2, which is the 22nd, 28th of October, high pressure then builds up from the south, so turning drier, but still pretty mild. We're on the warm side of jet stream. The jet stream will be to our north with that, so dry and mild there. Week 3 will be the 29th of October, 4th of November. High pressure right over top of the country then. And by this point, perhaps it's gone just about far enough north to decide to bring some cooler or colder air in around the high from the east as well. So that might be, it's still going to be very dry, of course, much drier than we've had through large portions of this autumn so far, but could be turning a bit cooler. And then by week 4, which is the 5th to the 11th of November, we're back to more unsettled conditions, low pressure appearing to the north of Scotland, high pressure pulling out into the Atlantic. So that's turning cooler, or even colder, and more unsettled as well, with a northwest-southeast alignment to wind flow and jet stream, and a return of wet weather. And dare I say it, possibly even something a little bit wintry is possible with that up in the north. We'll see, it's 4 weeks away, so it's a long way out. Before then, the CFS today is showing a lot of high pressure, actually, so finally we get a chance to dry things out, if that's right, over the next few weeks. Big if, of course. Okay, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thanks so much for everyone bored doing that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. Sorry about it's a little bit rushed video today, but as I say, I really playing up first flare up of my dodgy eye of the season. So I'm going to get offline when I've got this uploaded. Right, just so I was having on my channel tomorrow, we're going to have for 6 a.m. UK weather forecast, and we've also got the extended European outlook. No live stream tomorrow. We'd normally be live streaming our 10 to 14 day on a Wednesday, but this week the live stream is on Thursday. That's going to be Gav's 47th birthday, so I'll be doing a birthday live stream 6 p.m. on Thursday. It means that tomorrow we've just got a video upload for the 10 to 14 day out. And then we've got the third sneaky peeky for Christmas. Coming up at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy day tomorrow on the channel. I hope you enjoy all the content. Anyway, you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, though. And for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.